Belphegor is a very interesting and useful demon in Shin Megami Tensei V. For one, his resistances are great if you use his essence on the main character during the middle stages of the game, allowing you to easily get a main character who is either resistant or immune to all damage. But for the purposes of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at him in a different role, that of a tank. Because of his great initial resistance spread and the aforementioned ability to easily make him resistant or immune to everything, and his natural tankiness with a high vitality stat, Belphegor can be built for the sole purpose of soaking up damage that could otherwise go to your other party members. To do this, we need a few things. First is Fierce Roar, which makes it so that single target attacks from enemies will target Belphegor, and it also increases his defense by 1 rank for 3 turns. With just this, he can serve as a tank just fine, but we can take it a step further by shoring up his 2 natural weaknesses and singular natural resistance by giving him Resist Fire, Resist Force, and Resist Light. Finally, giving him Great Lifespring will provide a nice and very welcome HP boost, further cementing his role in your party as a tank. The last few abilities are up to personal preference. For me, I chose to give him Spirit Drain and Tarunda. Tarunda lets him double up as a support, and Spirit Drain helps him maintain his MP pool, something that is actually quite useful given that his MP pool is relatively low. But again, these last slots are entirely personal preference. And for anyone wondering about viability, I did use this Belphegor build from around level 45 until the very end of the game, though he does start to fall off a little bit in the last area due to the increase in enemies with skills that have the Pierce effect on them. But enough about the build. Let's get to actually turning our favorite toilet demon into a beefy tank. Alright, so for this fusion, we do need to prepare a few demons in advance. To start things off, we do need a Mothman, a Jack Frost, and this does need to be at least level 28. We need a Neko Shogun, a Quetzalcoatl, and this needs to be at least level 37, a Koppa Tengu, a Hanuman, and an Apsaras. And once we get the fusion done, you will also need the essence of either a Naga or a Kumbhanda, but we'll get to that once we're done with making the actual Belphegor. For starters, we are going to be fusing Mothman with Jack Frost in order to make a Baihu, and we're going to be passing down Resist Light here. Everything else does not matter. Alright, now that we have that made, we do need to level this up to level 45, so with the power of editing, I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so my Baihu is now level 45, magically, and through that I have learned Great Lifespring and Fierce Roar. Now we're going to take this, and we are going to fuse it together with the Neko Shogun in order to make an Artis. And here we are going to be passing down Fierce Roar, Great Lifespring, and Resist Light. The rest does not matter. Okay, so now we've made that. We are going to move down to Quetzalcoatl, and we are going to fuse this with Koppa Tengu in order to make a Kurama Tengu. And here we're going to be passing down Resist Force. The rest, again, does not matter. Okay, so now we've made that. We are going to fuse this Kurama Tengu with a Hanuman in order to make an Aquans. And we'll be passing down the Resist Force. Now that we have that, we want to take this Aquans and we want to fuse it together with Apsaras in order to make another Koppa Tengu. This time, we'll be passing down Resist Force. Alright, now we have this Koppa Tengu with our Resist Force. We are going to fuse Artis and Koppa Tengu together in order to make Belphegor. And we will be passing down Fierce Roar, Resist Light, Resist Force, and Great Mana Spring. Now if you're doing this at the time that I am, you will have an extra skill slot open. I'm doing this under the assumption that you're doing this as early as possible, and so that would be level 45, and you will only have 7 slots. So this is what we'll be passing down here. Alright, and once you have made this Belphegor and you've gotten him the skills that he currently has, we still need to get him resist fire in order to complete the base build. To do that, I'm going to need to go over to my essences and find my Naga, so I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, so here we are at the Naga, so we will select it for the essence fusion, and then we'll be passing down, making sure we get the Fierce Roar, Resist Light, Resist Force, Great Mana Spring, and Resist Fire. After that, pass down whatever you want, doesn't really matter at this point because the last few skills are personal preference. And that is the Belphegor build. Like I said, the last few skill slots are personal preference. I just randomly chose Maracakaja and Charge this time, but you know, generally you would want to use essences to get the extra skills that you would want to have on him onto him here, and then your build will be complete. So I hope you like the Belphegor build. This one served me well. It actually trivializes a few bosses in this game, kind of funnily enough, and it can make a few of the other abscesses quite easy as well, especially in the final area. Unfortunately though, once you start seeing some of the bosses in the late game, he does start to fall behind simply because the purpose of the build of having a tank that tanks all of the damage through his resistances doesn't really help much when enemies start using pierce attacks, but it is a fun build. It opens up a different play style than just, you know, brute forcing everything, and allows you to play a little bit more defensively, and it's just something to spice things up. So hopefully you like it. If you do, please leave a like on this video. And if you have any questions, you can ask me either in the comment section below, over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/RoslinGaming, or you can always hit me up over on Discord, both of which are linked in the video description below. Until next time, take care.